Well, hello everybody. Yeah, welcome back. We got another video. And this one is about Can Vinyl Me Please Audiophile? How good are their records, right? And it's all about the pursuit of a certain record. This record here. I've been trying to find a good copy of this record for a couple of 3 years probably. Maybe longer than that. And I found out about the record listening to it on YouTube because I really liked the artist, and then I started listening to some of his different titles, and this one came up. But when I went on eBay, this is 1969, and it came out on Sky Records, and they were always so very $100 for the originals. And I'm going, no, I didn't want to spend that much money. I'll just wait. Maybe I'll find one. I'll come back later and get one. I don't know why everything I see is so expensive. So originally, now back in the 80s, I think that's when I bought this record. This is from 1973, and this is Gabor Szabo. This is a record called Miserable, and I saw this in a used record store. Not this particular copy, because now I went and got myself a nice minty sealed one. Before I had one, it was like a $5 record, you know, because I like CTI. Their gatefolds, their shiny covers, they're really, really nice, and they have good sound. Creed Taylor made good sounding records. And so I saw the record. It's got a cool looking cover, and it said Bob James, Dak DeJohnette, Billy Cobham, Ron Carter, Ralph McDonald. I'm going, holy smokes. I love all those guys. Who's this Gabor Szabo guy? I'm going to have a listen to it. I took it home and I said, wow, that's really good music. Now, in particular, Miserable and 13s on one side, that's Gabor's original compositions, and they sound fantastic. But like Bob Bradley has been talking, a lot of these CTIs, they have some really good stuff, and then they have some kind of cheesy stuff, because he's got on here Summer Breeze, It's Going to Take Some Time, cover tunes on the other side, which are not so good. But that one side, and this guitar player now, he's got a unique style where a lot of times he's playing 2-3 strings at the same time in different harmonics, and he's a virtuoso. The guy, he's from Hungary. He's a really, really good guitar player, and he's really fast. He's really good. He's the kind of guy that Santana looked up to this guy and thought he was a fantastic guitar player. And we all know how good Carlos Santana is a guitar player. So, and this record, it wasn't probably until 2015 where I really got into heavy rotation, and I listened to it a lot. And he's always got different types of percussion in his records. Like this one's got like a lot of bells and different things in it. Really interesting. And it has a lot of audiophile interest, especially if it's recorded well, as this one is. And speaking of Bob Bradley, he's putting out some videos now. It's called The Summer of CTI. And he just talked about Bob James 1 the other day, and how he thinks that this record is really good. And now this is again CTI. This is 1974, and I bought this record in 74, and I've had it ever since. And then Bob James 2 is from 1975, and I think I bought it probably in 77 or so. But I was familiar with the music, but I didn't buy the record until about 77. And both of these are very good. There's a lot of horns, there's trombones, there's a lot of instrumentation, especially this one. There's really a lot of horns. The Brecker brothers and whatever's on here, they're really going. Steve Gadd on the drums. He's got a bunch of great musicians on here. If you're not familiar, it's worth a listen to those Bob James records. CTI, one of my more favorite labels. And I'll put a link to Bob Bradley's channel, so y'all can go over there and subscribe to him. He's got a good channel now. I really do enjoy Bob's videos. And now, after that, here in the last 5 years now, I've been trying to get more of this Gabor's records. This is his first record, and this is actually on the Sky on the Sky label. This is an original that I bought off eBay. It was still sealed, and I got it for probably $20, if I remember. I wasn't going to spend a lot of money, but look, it's still sealed. It's still in the shrink now, but brand new, 20 bucks, 1968. But you think you can get this record for $20 sealed? No, they're always like they want it. I just looked before I making the video. There's one on there for $150, the original. And I don't know who would want that nowadays when Vinyl Me Please is making them, unless they don't know how good Vinyl Me Please is doing their records. And this is the 1974 now, another one of his records on CTI, with the nice gatefolds. And I don't think I paid. This was like $10 for this record. So getting back to, and then here about a year ago, it's about that, maybe a year and a half or so ago, I saw that they had reissued it by Moon Records on 180 gram vinyl, gatefold jacket. Didn't list a lot. I didn't do a lot of investigating about who did the mastering or where it was made and everything. I just bought the record and was thoroughly disappointed with the sound on the record. It's probably a digital record. It sounds like it was made by three men with beards. You know how great those records sound. Because here's the problem. I know how good these records, these CTI sound, right? I know how good the Sky record sounds, right? These sound great. I mean, they were recorded. The Sky record now was recorded at Universal in LA. Now Universal makes good records. They make good. They got a good recording studio. And so the second one now, this one was 1969, recorded over at Universal. And I know that they have a good, the master tape's good. So I don't know what's going on. So it kind of goes back to the Vinyl Me Please record again. This is the one I finally pulled the pin and I got it. Vinyl Me Please started a membership drive here, I don't know, 6 months ago or so. And they were, if you signed up for a year, you got like 7 free records. And this is one of the records you can get for free. And I thought about signing up, but they just don't do the style, the kind of music that I want to buy. I couldn't even find 7 records that I wanted to get for free and then take a chance on a bunch of stuff. I'm just not like that. I just don't want to take chances on, send me a record, I don't know what it is, because I probably won't like it, So anyway, what's the story on this? What's the story on the Vinyl Me Please deal? Let's talk a little bit about that, right? So if I'm going to make a record, because I actually thought about, this was a title that I told my cousin about. I said, it's one of those titles that hasn't been reissued properly, and they're going for $100 on eBay. The originals are. That's the kind of record you want to remaster, because obviously there's a demand for it, because they're getting way too much money. This is what, when Michael Hobson, when he started Classic Records, that's what he did. He saw there was a need for these records to be remade. The Living Stereo records, because they were going for big money in the used record stores. So he said, if someone would reissue that stuff, they could make a living at doing stuff like that. So he started a reissue label, Classic Records, where they made audiophile records, because that was back in the 90s. People buying records were audiophiles, like myself. We didn't want to buy CDs. We thought records sounded better, and we were willing to pay more for a really high quality product, which Classic was. Bernie Grumman remastered everything, and they were pressed and plated at RTI. And also, he also went over to, what was the name of that place? Bill Smith Custom Records. That was another place where Michael Hobson got a lot of records made. That's where they made that flat profile, that 200-gram record, Bill Smith's Custom Records in California. And he also got a lot of records made at RTI. So now, in 2010, Chad Kassem buys Classic Records from Michael Hobson. And he keeps him on as a consultant. And so this is the time where Chad's building quality record pressing plant. He's building the plant. And he hasn't got his team set up yet about who's going to do what. So Michael Hobson said, listen, if you're going to make, I know the kind of records you want to make. You want to make the best records in the world. You need to go get Gary Sahlstrom. He's over there at RTI. That's who's plating their records. That's who's in charge of making that stuff over there. That's why RTI is so good. Because that's where Chad was getting his stuff made, a lot of his good records. He was making records at the time, but he didn't have QRP to make his own. He would get the tape, and he'd get Bernie or Doug Sachs. He used Doug Sachs a lot back in those days to remaster his records. And then, or George Marino or Ryan K. Smith, and he would get them, and then he'd send them over to RTI and get them made. So that's what he did. He got Gary Sahlstrom to run QRP and to train everybody how to plate records. So, this is not a secret. People know this stuff. So if I want to make records, if I'm going to start making records, I need to take control of that plating process, because it's just as important as who remasters the record. Right? If I get Ryan K. Smith to remaster it and then I get CG to plate it, I'm not going to have a good sounding record. So with this record now, Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound, they got the original master tape and they remastered it with Ryan K. Smith. Same exact thing that Chad Kassem would do. And then they got Gary Sahlstrom to plate it. Same exact thing, again, that Chad would do. But now Vinyl Me Please, they don't make their own records. But they know how important it is to plate it. So they get Gary to plate it. Then they send the plates over to CG. And then they make the records. They're just using their machines to stamp them out. Because you can get a good deal, obviously, over there. They do it here. Or people are so busy, like QRP, like RTI, they're so busy they can't. They can barely make their... Chad can't even make his own titles, let alone somebody else's stuff. So, very, very busy making records. So, that's how they're doing it. And so, Ron, how does it sound? What's going on with this record now that you told us all about it? The record starts out at side one. Gaber's playing his guitar, and there's a bowed bass. And you can hear all the details and everything. It's very, very, it's mostly all acoustic instruments on the record, except for Zasbo's guitar. It sounds like it's electric guitar to me. I never even looked on it to see what it is, but it's electric, obviously. Anyway, so then there's a lot of these Latin percussion instruments on the record as well, like the whirro. It's that piece of wood with all the slats cut in it where they take the stick and they run up and down. And you hear it on a lot of Santana records, and you hear it on David Bowie, Man Who Sold the World. It's on one of those tracks. It's in certain various records. And if it's done right and mic'd up right, it really adds a lot of interest to a recording. As well, I think they've got that cabassus, thing you can swish back and forth, and then the vibra slap, and other instruments. I don't even know what they are. I just know what they sound like. And then he's also got some echo in there. But it's that wet sounding echo. That's a lot of interest. And then like Zasbo, he plays, like I said before, a lot of where he'll play two strings at once on the harmonic. And he plays really fast. He plays really good. This is all instrumental stuff. You have to be good in order to pull this stuff off. And he just does a fantastic job of it. So, can Vinyl Me Please Can they audiophile? They absolutely can. They do all the audiophile stuff right. They get the right people to remaster their records, get the right people to plate it, and they put them on this. It's everything as an audiophile, as a record collector, that I want. I get an amazing sounding record, right? Then I get the nice Stoughton jacket, nice glossy gatefold. It's everything I want. This is a perfect product right here. And then since, Vinyl Me Please went on that membership drive, there's a lot more of these records out on eBay now. And I got it for $60, which is kind of getting on the upper edge for me for a single record. But it's not a crazy price, right? Like 100, but people want to get for this stuff. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and don't forget to leave some more comments. I want to thank everybody that's left a comment. I've even getting hello from Iceland or hello from Germany, things like that. Even if you just want to say hi or welcome back, anything to just put a comment on there for me so I can get back to you. And I respond to every comment, and something that I enjoy doing. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye for now. Take care, everyone.